Hello everybody, Reggie Time here, and today we're taking a look at GG Poker's new speed poker offering. Um, it's played in a Chinese currency, which is, so we're playing like 1020 here, but it's effectively, I'd say 4NL, something like that, based on how my currency was converted. Feels like it's 4NL-ish. Certainly wouldn't be any higher than 5NL these games. Um, and I played a little bit, and the games seem pretty good, to be fair, for speed poker games. I mean, they wouldn't be as loose as typical poker games, I wouldn't imagine, but what speed poker games are. But yeah, the games, they seem okay. There seem to be plenty of like not full stack players around. I guess we're gonna have to bluff here with this King Jack. Not sure we're gonna get it through very often, but I doubt King High showdown value. There's going to be a lot of ace highs that peeled the flop that probably can't call now. Yeah, the games seem okay, to be fair. It's a nice site, GG. They're doing a lot of things right in the community, in my opinion. They're constantly looking for ways to improve the software, to improve the offerings of the games, running promotions. They offer reasonable rate back, or decent rate back, to be fair, um, compared to what's out there in the market these days. And yeah, as much as I rail against speed poker in general. Did I color raise here? Yeah, I did color raise. I think these are about as good as you're going to get in terms of speed poker games. They seem. I mean, I've only played for an hour or so, and I get it's only 4NL. So let's not get too excited. Well, let's think about this Jack 7 first. I guess we have a super easy call on the turn. He doesn't bet. We just have a value bet now, don't we? Hopefully get paid off. Hope not to get raised, because that would suck. So yeah, the games seem pretty good. I mean, I've played an absolute ton of Snap. And I'd say these games, stakes-wise, are similar to 5NL Snap in terms of how much you're playing for. But in terms of like how loose the games seem, these seem a lot looser than 5NL Snap does. So I'd say, considering in the past I've said that Snap is the softest speed poker game around, maybe this is now. Maybe this is the softest speed poker game around. I've not seen enough of it yet to be sure, and I haven't played any of the higher stakes that's equivalent to like 25NL or 30NL or what have you, because I just haven't got enough money on the site. But it's something I'm definitely going to investigate over the coming days, and maybe play some slightly higher stakes at some point, and see how those games look too. But yeah, it's promising. It really is promising. I think as a community, we probably need to support these smaller sites a little bit. Yeah, I get that they are a new site or a newer site, and people are always a bit dubious about new sites. But I mean, I've deposited and withdrawn several times, never had the slightest of problems. I know guys who play on here all the time, they don't seem to think there's any issues. GG is licensed to provide games in the UK, so I'm presuming they've had to jump through some hoops to get the license. So I mean, there's always risk when you deposit money to a poker site, especially like an overseas one. But I think the risk is pretty minimal. And if you guys are looking for a new game, a new speed poker game, or want to look at somewhere different, I think this is going to be as good as anywhere to take a look at. And they have lots of other like nice little features. People have the option to straddle. I haven't seen that yet in this game. I haven't seen people taking that option just yet. But you also have the option to run it twice or 3 times when you get it all in, assuming your opponent agrees to run it that many times. You can purchase insurance on your hands if you're low on bankroll and you want to avoid variance. I wouldn't recommend doing that because it's obviously negative EV. But that said, if you're on a short bankroll, maybe sometimes taking some insurance to avoid variance wouldn't be the worst thing you could do. It feels like a nice site. The tournaments are incredibly soft. I've watched quite a few tournaments on Twitch, and they are bonkers soft. Lots and lots of like really, really bad players just punting stacks left and right. It's a nice site. I haven't played enough on it yet to know how soft the regular table games are. And my downside for the regular table games, I will play here much more, but they do allow people to buy in for just 10 big blinds, I think, which is a big turn off for me. But I haven't seen that in these games. I haven't seen people just like playing the minimum stacks. So maybe it's different in the speed poker games. I can't say I've investigated it too much. But yeah, I'm liking it. And traffic seems really good too. They have a pretty good, like I said, we talked about a pretty good rate back system where high volume players are capable of like getting up to 60% rate back. I think maybe even 80%. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's a site that's definitely worthy of your at least taking a look at. Just make a small deposit, see what you think. I know I'm certainly going to be taking quite a serious look at these speed poker games over the coming days, and I shall report back with my opinion on just how playable they are. Not a nice flop for the King Queen. Don't think we're going to see bet this board. No backdoor equity. I like this little HUD thing. It's pretty neat. No idea what the fuck's going on here. I just can't see anything on the table. But never mind. We had 9-2 off, so we didn't need to see anything on the table. You've got these little HUD stats here, and like 9%, 8%, 12%, 12. Excuse me, and 100 there. So you can get to see like who's loose, who's tight when it comes to some of your more marginal opens or marginal spots. Cowboys. Mid check raise to you. Do we just jam? Call and then just jam turns, I think, might be the better option. I'm going to be behind to like pocket fours, pocket fives, a decent amount. There's not many two pairs out there. There are some flush draws, which he may or may not have been taking a flare with. We're going to jam turn. We're just going to call turn then. He did have a set there. Not much we're going to be able to do about that, I'm afraid. When you beat, you beat. I played a little session earlier and I got kings cracked twice. I've had kings 3 times and they've now lost 2 pocket fives to ace queen and they're running to aces. I mean, that's going to happen in speed poker, just the way it is. I mean, it's going to happen in all poker, but it feels like it happens more in speed poker just because you see way more hands per hour. Yeah, but kings have not been particularly good to me today. Fortunately, we're playing 4-1L and I couldn't give less of a fuck. I do know there's lots of you guys out there that don't really have a home when it comes to poker. You play various different places, and lots of people ask me where's the best place to play, etc. And that tells me that lots of people are looking for alternatives to Poker Stars and to Party Poker and things. because most people know about these major sites, and it feels like they don't want to be there. They're asking where else is soft, where should we play at. I rarely recommend sites outside of Sky and Triple Eight, but I'm beginning to think that GG is like a really solid option. The site's growing. It's increasing its liquidity. What seems like on almost a weekly basis, and it's probably going to continue growing too. It does tap very heavily into the Asian market, which is, I would imagine, pretty fertile ground. Oh, I didn't realise I'd been counterfeited. Didn't realise I was going to let the 10 high win there. We 3-bet the ace 10. We've been called, and it's a pretty rubbish board. We can't really continue betting here. We don't represent anything. I mean, I guess we can just put tons of pressure on middle pairs and maybe some better ace highs, but by and large, it's just not a good board for our range after we 3-bet and we get called, and then that comes to. It's time just to shut it down. I'm going to fire a second barrel here and just give up thereafter. This guy's seeing 41% of flops, so there's a good chance he just doesn't have very much. Chance to get a check raise in. There were open end, a backdoor flush draw. Well, our opponent reconnected and called again, giving up with the ace jack now, and we're definitely going for the check raise with the king 10, and we get the fold. Feels nice. This like, it just doesn't feel super slick and modern, but it just feels like friendly enough, like very user friendly. I think it's sort of site with all like the colourful avatars and things like that just appeals to recreational players, I would think, which is obviously what we want when we're playing. We want to try to play with as many recreational players as possible, and like non-regulars, if you will. He's limped in pre. He's then caught the flop. I think we should probably give up here because of the king that he's not folding. He's likely not folding an ace, unless we want to enter the clip and just triple barrel. I think it's probably a reasonable spot just to give up. If the turn was a heart, we absolutely would just have emptied the clip. But you can see there's a reasonable amount of limping, as you would expect at 4-L. Who knows what it's like higher. I guess that's something we need to investigate, but yeah, the games seem pretty nice. This guy hasn't played a hand yet, but we don't know how many hands over, but fuck it, we're still going to 3-bet the ace-6 suited anyway, because why not? Fold our middle pair there to a pot size bet. It's 10 suited. Are we going to 3-bet? Are we going to call? Well, we'll go with a call. And we're going to go with the check raise on this flop. With our 2 overs, backdoor flush draw and backdoor wheel draw. $180 seems fine and dandy to me. We're going to be barreling on like aces, tens and spades, giving up on the rest. That now becomes a moot point because our opponent folded, which is always nice when you don't have a hand as such. Probably just had the best hand there, I would guess, but still nice to just take it down with a check raise. So we're pretty big nit in the big blind here. So only playing 7% of hands according to this. So we're going to expect not to get 3-bet and just call with our A7 suited. Sadly, the flop is absolutely useless to us, so we're going to try and check it down. Easy C-bet here with our nothing but backdoors. If he calls, we're just going to barrel pretty big on clubs and give up on the rest. He actually raises us, which is whatever. Really not a problem when you have the 9 high. No one ever likes getting check raised, but if you're going to get check raised when you've got air, because it makes life a whole lot easier. Oh, kings again. How are we going to lose a stack this time? Feels like it's going to be hard to lose this one. An incredibly safe flop. Smallish bet, but he has bet into 2 players. Just going to let the 7s go. Probably just going to play for another minute or so because I do have some chores to do. I was just excited to see that they'd launched Speed Poker, even though I'm not a huge Speed Poker fan. When soft sites launch it, it's certainly something to maybe get the juices flowing. I plan on making some more videos over the coming days, just so you guys can see firsthand how the games are playing before you decide whether you want to commit any money to the site or not. Yeah, the games do seem tighter than the games I'm used to playing on Sky, but as we addressed earlier, you're going to get that. It's Speed Poker. You're not going to get super loose, aggressive games where you can just like pound on one particular fish because you're at the table with them all the time. But as we talked about, with the rake back you can get from this site and with the softness, I have a hard time believing that there's a better option out there at the moment. How long these games will stay similar, who knows? But right now, it feels like a really good option for lots of like lower stakes grinders trying to grind up a roll. If you can get in slightly softer games and get better rake back, then it's a little bit like stepping back in time to like the late noughties, if you will, where rake back was a plenty and games were a bit softer. It does feel like we've dialed the clock back a little bit to to earlier times when it was maybe a little bit easier to build a bankroll than it is now. I mean, so many people built bankrolls off rakeback. That hasn't been an option for the last 3 or 4 years. This is an option again now, for sure. I'm going to go for a small cold 4-bet with the ace jack. Fold to a shove. That's top pair, top kicker in a squeeze pot. SPR just over 3. Let's see what we can do. Right, so he's called our cold 4-bet, then led into us. I think we're going to lose another 7. Whatever this currency is called, we're going to lose another 17 of it right now, I think. Unless we can hit a jack. He checks. Promising. Oh, he didn't check. Sorry, I thought he checked. He's just bet 8. Just going to call it off. And expect to lose to ace queen or ace king. King 10. Woohoo. That's why you don't raise in those situations. That is just why you don't raise in those situations. You just call, wow, we've been raised on the turn. We lose, I guess, but how can we possibly fold? And we certainly can't fold anymore. He doesn't have flush draws when he does this. He just has sets of 3, sets of 8, sets of 9s, I guess. King 4, wow. Yeah, so we found out right at the end of the video just how soft these games can be. We've had someone barrel their stack off into us in a 4-bet pot with just King 10. Then we've had somebody min raise the turn and jam the river with King 4. Yeah. So we've definitely a good advertisement for the games right at the end there. Yeah. There you go. Get over to GG Poker and enjoy the sickness. We are going to sit out next big blind on next big blind. There goes the telephone. Don't know where it is. There it is. I might have to end the video early, depending on if I'm going to answer it or not. And I am going to answer it. I'm going to have to go now, guys, because it's an important call. Take care, and we'll see you all soon. Bye-bye for now.